My genius hour topic was the amphibian or the bear dog. So the amphibian was a prehistoric predator that lived in the Ice Age, and I created this website to show all the facts about the amphibian and its lifestyle, and how it died out, and how it could have possibly survived and not have gone extinct during the Ice Age. The amphibian was one cool animal, and it had a ton of amazing features. The amphibian lived for about 11.6 million years, and it lived in the northern hemisphere, so that's like Europe, Middle East, Asia, North America, and places like that. It was 8 feet long at the max, about as long as a sofa. It was 4.5 feet tall, so that's about as tall as a regular child, who's about 11, and it had a body very close to a wolf and a dog, or a bear and a dog, which is why it's called a bear dog. So it had wolf-like teeth, muscular body, thick neck, robust legs, and a heavy tail. And the largest species was 600 kilograms, which is about as much as a camel. The amphibian was an amazing hunter. Proof of this was its prey. An example of that is the Chilicotherium, one of these guys. So the Chilicotherium was twice as tall as the amphibian, or as tall as the amphibian was long. That just goes to show that the amphibian was so good at hunting, it could take down prey twice its size. I'm going to skip over the evolution slide, but you can visit it later. So moving on to how the amphibian hunted. The amphibian couldn't have been at the top of its food chain if not for the way it hunted. The bear dog hunted similarly to a lion. It would hide, then ambush its prey, and chase for a short bit if it got away. But the difference between the two was that the amphibian evolved to be bigger and faster to catch those primitive horses that always got away. So from there it was bon appetit. So if you want to learn more about how it hunted, there's a video on my slide. So my Genius Hour product was to show how the amphibian could have possibly survived the Ice Age by evolving to have certain features. So here's the link to my product. To start off, some of the animals that survived the Ice Age were wolves, cougars, coyotes, deer, antelope, mountain goats, bears, and pronghorn. So these all survived. And I compiled my research on them to show what features they had in common that let them survive the Ice Age. So one of them was the fact that wolves were pack animals, and that made it easier for them to hunt. That there was safety in numbers, and it was easier to steal prey from other predators. As said before, cougars and mountain goats both survived, and part of that was because of their feet. Cougars had pads and mountain goats had hooves that allowed them to get to areas, mountains, where other competitors couldn't, so there was more prey there, and there was less competition to find food. The fact that bears had fur and all the others had fur was fairly self-explanatory. It was cold in the Ice Age. Fur kept you warm, so if you had fur, you were more likely to survive. I think the coolest feature that animals had was the teeth, okay? Coyotes and cougars both survived, and most people think it's because of their teeth. They're similar to lion teeth, so lion teeth are different because they could chew through any part of a carcass. Instead of only being able to chew through the meat, these guys could chew through bone and all other parts of the body. That means there was a famine, they could eat through all of it, and they'd have more food while spending less energy. And coyotes and cougars both had that. Sadly, the amphibian did die out, and part of that was because of its size. Though that kept it alive during the time period before the Ice Age, that was one of its downfalls. So basically the thing is, if you had crickets and elephants, there'd be more crickets than there would elephants, and that's because the crickets are smaller elephants. The smaller an animal is, the more of its population there will be. So as the amphibian evolved to go bigger and bigger, there was less population of the amphibian. So because of that, that's easier to wipe it out. Also, pack animals would gang up on the amphibian, taking food, killing cubs, and that would end its population. So sadly, the amphibian did die out. But that was my genius hour product. I hope you like it. Thanks.